Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my June TBR. A lot of things will be happening both in June and also in regards to my TBR. So this will be a very interesting video, I feel like. First of all, in my life in June, I will be traveling a lot. I will be away for basically half the month on various occasions. So first I will be going to Czech to visit my family. That's usually pretty chill. I'm counting on having some downtime there to just read, relax. I will also be able to read on the plane and stuff. But then later on in the month I will be going away with friends to Copenhagen. Not counting on getting any reading done there, basically, mainly because I'm gonna be hanging out with friends I haven't seen for a while, and all other time I'm gonna use to relax or be social or whatever. We also have the midsummer weekend in Sweden. Once again, we'll be going to Gotland with friends, also counting on being busy then. So it will be interesting to see how much time I will actually have to read in June. A few other exciting things happening in June. The Add Some read-along is officially starting. This is a Darker Shade of Magic read-along that I am hosting, and we're starting it in June with the first book. It will be going on for the entirety of the summer, so I will link its announcement video and also the official Twitter. So if you're interested in joining, you are very welcome to join this read-along in preparation for the new book being released this fall. My dear friend Kirsty from KBF Bookish is hosting her first readathon, the Adventureathon, and I'm aiming to participate in that one as well. It's sort of a choose your own adventure. You pick a character, you pick their path, you can choose skills, you have a first quest and a final quest and so on. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. The thing with that one is that I haven't decided which character or path to take yet, because for this TBR I actually plan on randomizing my TBR. This is something I used to do a lot, like last year and the year before that, but I have not randomized my TBR so far this year. So it's been over half a year since I attempted to randomize my TBR. This year I have tried to focus more on like my reading goals and various book events and making theme vlogs and such, and having a randomized TBR or randomizing books from my bookshelves doesn't really allow much space or time for that, which is why I haven't been doing my TBR game. But this month I'm feeling like it. We're getting to the summer and I'm fairly up to date with my reading challenges and goals, so might as well attempt this. I also aim to do a themed reading vlog in June. I'm hoping to do a vlog where I reread favorite books. So I have 3 favorite books in mind. I will also keep up with my year-long challenges, so Buzzwordathon, 12 books by 12 friends, and Globetrotterathon, and also my non-fic challenge. So plenty happening. But before we can talk about any of that, we need to randomize the books. We need to sort out my basis, my grounds, my foundation for my June TBR. What do I have to work with? If you don't know, this randomizing my TBR is very simple. I just use a random number generator on my phone, and based on various categories I randomize a number and then pick the book that corresponds to that number. Today I aim on picking books from 4 different categories. We have my entire physical TBR except for sequels I'm not ready to read yet, if that makes sense. The second category is all of the books that I'm currently reading, so basically my pile of shame on Goodreads. We then have all of my Illumicrate books, because I'm attempting to get through those as well. And finally, I will be randomizing amongst my 12 books recommended by 12 friends. Those 4 categories, and of course, we're going to start with my entire physical TBR. So I made a count earlier today, and I counted 117 books on my physical TBR currently. This does include current reads and Illumicrate books, so if any of those gets chosen, I will just adjust for the other categories. That is fine. Like, this can literally be any book. It can be a tome, like a really thick book. It can be a short book. It can be horror, a fantasy, a romance. I have no freaking clue. It can be nonfiction. It can be something I'm not at all in the mood for. It's a bit nerve-wracking, actually. Here we have the app. Randomizing between 1 and 117. There's really no reason to wait, so let's just attempt it. 3, 2, 1. Okay, 18. What was that sound? I'm gonna film on my phone now, and we're gonna see what book number 18 is. Welcome to my bookshelf. We're at the top of the first one, and I'm gonna be counting them this way and those that are up there. So that's my approach. And I guess I should just count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Moving down, it's the shelf probably. 14, 15, 16, 17, 8. Oh, I'm not as... Okay. Am I excited? I don't know. Well, I be damned. This was not my plan for the month. Just saying. This was not at all my plan for the month. These were not the vibes I was hoping for. This size, oh, what have I done? The book that was chosen was From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This series, and this book in particular, was huge like 2 years ago, I think. It was everywhere on BookTube, everyone was reading it, raving about it. It's a fantasy romance. It was so difficult to get a hold of this book in Sweden as well. I don't know if it's because it's an indie publication or something. I haven't heard anything about the series for ages, and I have heard very mixed things about this book and the series. So I'm not that excited, I think. It's about a maiden, a duty, and a kingdom chosen from birth to usher in a new era. Poppy's life has never been her own. The life of the maiden is solitary, never to be touched, never to be looked upon, never to be spoken to, never to experience pleasure. The entire kingdom's future rests on Poppy's shoulders. A golden-eyed guard, bound to ensure her ascension, enters her life. I don't freaking know. It's about someone needing to make a sacrifice and falling in love, and then there's probably sex. I'm guessing this will be the book I bring with me to Czech, because it's such a tome. I can at least read it on the plane, but I don't know. I need to have a thinker about this one, because I'm not certain if I'm that excited. Although, I see now that we have an arrow on this one, and I know for one of the prompts in Adventureathon, I don't remember which path, one of the prompts is to read a book with an arrow on it. So that might work. And also, it's a hybrid genre, fantasy romance. So maybe I can make it work for Adventureathon at least. That would be something, right? We're gonna keep this up. I have a feeling that at least we can't really do anything worse. Next category is my currently reading, and according to my Goodreads, I currently have 15 books marked as currently reading. But one of those books I'm actually hoping to finish now in May, so I will exclude that one, and that is Lies We Sing to the Sea. There's still like a few days left of May, so fingers crossed that I'm able to finish that one. So we are going to do this randomization from 1 to 14. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. 14. Okay, the last one on my list. I know what it is. Because my books, my currently reading is sorted in the order that I added them. So number 14 on this list will be the one that I started the longest time ago. And I'm fairly certain I know which one this is. I'm currently filming my screen on Goodreads. We're gonna skip the first one. But this doesn't really matter because we're just gonna scroll down to the last one. So, can we see which one it is? The next book that was picked from my currently reading is Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. I am once again very uncertain about this, because the thing is, I have been in the mood for nonfiction, I have been in the mood for history for the last month or so. I love to learn, I want to learn more, which is why I even got this to begin with. I got this back in 2019 actually, and I started reading it then. I've read about a third, but I never continued with it. And the thing is with this one now is that I want to restart it. I don't remember anything from the start, and I would like to attempt to annotate it, or at least underline things or highlight or use tabs when I read this one, because I do feel like there's a lot of good pointers in here. So if you don't know, this is basically a nonfiction about the brief history of humankind. It's a thrilling account of our extraordinary history from insignificant apes to rulers of the world. I am excited about this. Also, I'm fulfilling my monthly goal of reading a nonfiction, which is good. But it's another chunker. I think that's mainly it. Like, it's quite dense because it's nonfiction and history and over or closer to 500 pages. I've chosen 2 books so far, and I'm already at 1,000 pages. And this is just like half of my randomized books. And on top of that, everything else I want to read. We're doing great, fam. Next up, I guess, are my Illumicrate books. And according to myself, I have 10 Illumicrate books I have yet to read. They are on my special edition shelf. Back to the random number generator. From 1 to 10. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Number 5. Let's head to the shelf. Here we have my beautiful special edition shelf. Here we have some like non-Illumicrate books, and here we have the Illumicrate books. So I guess I'm just gonna count to book number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank God. Wait, There we go. So the game decided to be a tad bit nicer to me this time, and it shows God Killer by Hannah Kaner. This is a release from this year, I think. It was released in January. It's short. Thankfully. Less than 300 pages. The thing though is that I'm usually quite skeptic to fantasy books that are short, because I don't feel like they have enough time and space and pages and words to build a world and explore it and the characters. This is about Kissen, who now makes a living killing gods, and she enjoys it. That is until she finds a god she cannot kill. Skedi, a god of white lies, has somehow bound himself to a young noble, and they are both on the run from unknown assassins. This features assassins. That's another Adventureathon prompt, I believe. Cursed by demons and in the midst of burgeoning civil war, they will all face a reckoning. Something is rotting at the heart of the kingdom, and only they can be the ones to stop it. I am quite intrigued by this one. This edition is stunning as well. Just look at those edges. They are beautiful. How is it underneath the dust jacket now again? Oh yeah, like this woman in armor. Sign me up. Okay, it's really cool actually. I'm excited. This is a good choice. It's a short one. Hopefully I can speed through it at some point as well. Nice one. The final book we will pick is from my 12 books recommended by 12 friends. I'm trying to work through that. I'm a tad bit behind, but I've had some great recommendations on that. This time we are gonna randomize between the number 1 and 9. 3, 2, 1. Number 1. Okay. First book on the list then. Let's head to the little graph of my 12 books recommended by 12 friends. Oh no. And the first book I see is Daughter of the Moon Goddess, recommended by Paige. And the final book that was randomized was Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sun Lin Tan. Don't get me wrong, like I am excited about this. I've been meaning to read it. I've even tried to force myself to read it by putting it on my 12 books that will self-destruct. And that is also why Paige helped me out by putting this on my 12 recs list so that I read it before it self-destructs and I need to unhaul it. So that is good. It's just that it's another chunker. I'm not sure if I'm in the mood for chunkers. What is this about? I kind of don't know. It's a retelling inspired by the Mid-Autumn legend. Raised on the moon, Xingyin was unaware she was being hidden from the Celestial Emperor, who exiled her mother for stealing the elixir of immortality. But when her magic flares and Xingyin's existence is discovered, she is forced to flee her home, leaving her mother behind. She makes her way to the Celestial Kingdom, a land of wonder and secrets. In disguise, she trains alongside the Emperor's son, mastering archery and magic, despite the passion which flames between them. Ooh, I like the sound of that. To rescue her mother, Xingyin embarks on a quest, confronting legendary creatures and vicious enemies. This sounds like an adventure. I did not expect an adventure. I knew it was based on like a legend or a retelling or something, and I knew it related to something with like beautiful prose and Chinese mythology or something. I did not expect an adventure. Okay, I am excited now. I'm excited about all of these books. It's just that the page count of these 4 alone is quite massive. Here's the stack that my game shows for me. Now you know why I don't really do this game anymore. I'm certain there's a 5-star among these ones. Now that we have decided my foundation for this June TBR, let's talk about my year-long challenges. I mentioned I'm still doing Buzzwordathon. That one is going quite well. And for June, the buzzword is other, so we need to find a book with the word other in the title. I do actually already have a plan for this, and that is to read Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is available as an audiobook on Scribd. It has the word other in it, so it's perfect. It was quite tricky for me to find something, but listening to a Christina Lauren in June will be great, I think. Not sure what it's about, I don't know the premise of it at all. I just know that it's Christina Lauren and romance, and that is fine by me. Next year-long challenge is Globetrotterathon. This time we need to read a book that somehow relates to Oceania, and I actually have the perfect pick for this, which I'm very excited about, because I plan on reading The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. If you've been subscribed to this channel for a while, you know that this is not my book. This is what I'm currently reading, and I've probably had it for like 2 years now, or even more. So I should really return it to my friend at some point. I started reading this, I'm 100 pages in, quite exactly. It's the Swedish translation of the book. But the way it relates to Oceania is because the author is Australian. Perfect, right? I've never read the book Thief before either. It would have been great if this was the book that was randomly chosen for my currently reading, but hey, we can't have it all. It takes place in Germany in 1939. 9-year Liselle lives with a foster family. Her parents were taken to a concentration camp and her little brother is dead. She is a book thief. She steals from the Nazis, from libraries and everywhere where she can find books. She shares these books with her neighbors. This is her story. I don't remember much from those first 100 pages. I'm not gonna reread those first 100 pages. I will just continue with this, but this is another 600-page book, so I have 500 pages to go. This is turning out to be the worst TBR of my entire year. We did find a book for 12 books recommended by 12 friends though. That is awesome. Don't need to focus on that. And I also have a non-fiction to focus on in June. So hopefully, fingers crossed, achieving all of my yearly goals that I'm working on each month as well. This is so not what I have been in the mood for, but that is fine. I will also now share which books I plan on reading for my reading vlog, where I plan on rereading favorites. Obviously, on this one, we have A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. As I mentioned, the read-along starts now in June, and I'm so excited to reread this. This is the series that I claim got me into reading 3 years ago. I haven't reread it since, so I'm very excited to do it. In this story, we have parallel Londons. So it's a fantasy, and we have 4 different Londons that exist in parallels, in like parallel universes. And we have a character, Kel, who can travel across these universes or these Londons. And he also smuggles things between these Londons, which he shouldn't, but he does. Each London also have various degrees of magic in it. It's a great story with great characters. It's fast-paced, very to the point type of writing. I'm so excited to get back into the universe and reread this entire series. This time around I also picked up the collector's edition of the book, so I'm very excited about that. It's gorgeous underneath the dust jacket with some foiling. I think we might have some like extra material in here with like images and a glossary and stuff. It's gonna be so much fun to rediscover this world, and I'm very excited about it. So I thought that, hey, if I'm rereading a favorite, I might as well reread a couple of other favorites while I'm at it and make a vlog out of it, because I've been wanting to reread these books for a while. So the next book I'm gonna reread is Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. This is the first Backman book I ever read, and it's what started my craze and obsession with him as an author. Actually, the first time I read it as an ebook, so I didn't even have the physical copy of it. So what I'm hoping to do now is reread this one and annotate it as I go. I'm very excited about it. I love this book. This is basically a locked mystery type of book where we have a bunch of people going to an open house for an apartment, and there's like a failed attempted robbery happening. All of these people in the apartment, they have their own lives going on, and we get to know them, and there's like people trying to figure out what happened in the apartment, who the robber is, and so on. It's just amazing. It's hilarious, but it's also heartfelt. I adore Fredrik Backman's writing. I'm very excited about this book. I'm so happy to finally reread it. I'm convinced that I'm gonna run through this quite quickly. The final book I plan on rereading is actually another book that I did not read as a physical book first time around, and that is A Song for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. I listened to this one as an audiobook last year, I think. I was so surprised by it because I had very low expectations. I haven't read Becky Chambers before. I wasn't certain about the premise of the book and the plot, but I loved it. I was obsessed. When me and my friend Steffi went to Edinburgh last fall, I found this one in a store and picked it up, and actually that store was Typewriter, and they even put a stamp in the book, which is super cool. Here it is. So the Typewriter stamp. So it's a special edition to me as well. It's, as you can see, a very short book. It's a novella taking place in a future, perhaps not that far away, I don't know. It's been centuries since the robots of Panga gained self-awareness and laid down their tools. Centuries since they faded into myth and urban legend. One day the life of a tea monk, called Dax, is appended by the arrival of a robot. The robot has one question: what do people need? But the answer to the question depends on who you ask and how. So they are going to need to ask a lot. So it's basically about this tea monk, Dax, and a robot whose name I don't remember yet, and they start this little journey or travel together where they start to ask people, what do humans need? It's a very inclusive, safe, comforting, feel-good type of book. A lot of queer representation. Dax is non-binary. It's lovely. It's like a utopia. It's not a dystopic book. It's definitely not dystopic. It's more like, hey, the world is looking quite well in the future. So I'm very excited to read this physically. It's just about 150 pages. So I do think that these 3 books I should be able to read in like within a week or something, depending on when I will have time for that, considering my traveling plans, but still. I'm very excited to reread these books. I think it's gonna be a very good time. All of these books I've given 5 stars. I've thought about them a lot throughout the years, and I'm so excited to revisit these characters and these worlds. The final thing I should probably clear up is Adventureathon, but what I'm gonna do, because I'm exhausted, I need to have a thinker regarding the books that have been picked for me now. And I will have a look at all of the Adventureathon prompts, and later on today I will come back to you, probably filmed on my phone instead of sitting down in front of the camera, and I will share what path I plan on taking and what books I plan on reading for that path. Hopefully you are all right with that. Do you see the stack? This is my stack for June. I don't think I will be able to read all of this. I will attempt to. I'm gonna do my best. This is a lot of books, and I'm still not done with my TBR. And with all the travel coming up as well, I'm calling it right now. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I will attempt to, but I'm not gonna be able to. One of these gotta go. I'm not gonna do the outro. I will leave you hanging, and you will soon meet Charlotte in the future, explaining how she will plan for Adventureathon. Hi friends, Charlotte in the future coming at you with my Adventureathon TBR. I've had a look on the prompts and I have decided on a path, and I'm deciding that I will aim for the Assassin's path, which is awesome. That's really cool. I'm just walking through everything so I remember, and then I will run to the bookshelf and show you my picks. For tools, I'm picking daggers. I need a dagger on the cover. For skills, I'm picking poisons or join a guild. I will explain. Starting quest is read a book featuring assassins. Final quest is read a book with a corrupt leader. Side quests, I'm not gonna aim for. So for a dagger on the cover, I'm reading From Blood and Ash because this is a dagger. It's either a dagger or a sword, but I'm saying that it's a dagger. The skill choice is between, for me, I'm considering either going for poison or join a clan. And I watched Kirsty's recommendation video and she mentioned these books, which I own, but I have not yet decided which one to aim for. I will either read this Savage Song for the clan one, because this apparently features a gang or something. I don't know. Could perhaps be a nice switch of pace or change of pace in June, because I'm gonna need it. My other option is a magic steeped in poison for poison. That is another one I'm considering. Seems like it's gonna be a very fantasy heavy month. We then had starting quest, read a book featuring assassins. When I read the premise of this book, it said that it featured assassins. So that is great, and it's short for once. So God Killer for that one. And then final, this one is the worst. The final quest is to read a book with like overthrowing a corrupt government or something similar. Hold on, another one if I'm feeling something else. This could also work for like a book featuring a clan, a gang, a guild or something, because hey, they are sort of like a gang. Final quest 1, overthrowing a corrupt government. I might read, I don't think I will have time for this, but I might read The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, the sequel in Mistborn, because in Mistborn it all starts out with the fact that the world, the government, whatever, is being run by the bad guy. I mean, how long is it? Over 700 pages. Over 700 pages, yep. Do I have time for that in June? Probably not, both time-wise, but also considering that I'm already like planning on reading 4,000 pages. So I don't feel like that's gonna happen. There we have it. There we have my potential Adventureathon TBR. I will figure out my Adventureathon TBR as I go, but that is at least sort of a potential TBR. So with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and please root for me because I'm gonna need it in June, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before.